Fox News alert 4 people, including an NYPD officer, are dead after a gunman opened fire inside an office building in New York City. We have brand new details, breaking and more on the brave officer tragically killed.
Also this morning, President Trump, in the final day of his UK trip, is expected to make comments this hour. We'll be monitoring that, bring you anything the president says as his administration racks up the trade wins. You're watching Fox and Friends First here on a Tuesday morning. I'm Todd Pyro.
And I'm Carly Shimkus. We start with the breaking news out of New York City.
4 dead, including an NYPD officer after a gunman opens fire at a Midtown office in New York City in a terrifying broad daylight shooting. That officer has been identified as Deterrent Islam, who was off duty at the time working security. He had immigrated here from Bangladesh.
Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero.
The shooter has been identified as 27-year-old Shane Temura, who was found dead at the scene. His motive has not yet been confirmed by police. Retired NYPD Detective Pat Brosnan joins us now. Detective, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you've been following this horrific shooting that took the lives of 4 innocent people, including an NYPD officer whose wife was pregnant with their 3rd child. The New York Post is reporting, when it comes to a motive, that the gunman was carrying a multi-page note. It cited the NFL. This office building has NFL offices in it, and it also said that he has CTE. He shot himself in the chest and asked that his brain be studied. When it comes to a motive, is that it?
No, in my view, to be very honest, Carly, that's not a motive. That's just a cop-out. I mean, there's a lot of people who have emotional issues, a lot of people who allege and propose that they have these problems from different injuries that they've taken throughout their lifetime. And the reality is this coward strutted across the plaza at 345 Park Avenue and unleashed hell yesterday evening. And in the course of that, he murdered 4 New Yorkers. He murdered the father of 2, as you referenced earlier, who, to give you just a little bit of context, and it's important for your viewers, I retired out of the 47th precinct as a detective. He swam against the tide. If you recall the Summer of Love, when 1,000 businesses burned to the ground, 700 officers were hospitalized, he elected to put his hand up and fight the good fight against good and evil. Every other officer was at the headquarters retiring or quitting because they didn't want to stay on for it. They didn't want the defunding the police, the disgusting rhetoric. The folks that were giving him the finger, he put his hand up. He joined to fight the good fight. And that's absolutely important for your viewers to recognize and acknowledge. The time of his joining was relatively small relative to turnout.
To that point, our colleague Paul Morrow highlighted 2 really important points, basically in the same vein that you're talking about, how there are fewer officers on the streets following the defund the police movement. And Paul said the following: the deterrent effect. If NYPD was fully staffed like it was maybe a decade or so ago,
sure,
there would be police officers sort of on every street corner in the Midtown area like there were back in the 90s. And if there's police officers on the corner in a very, very highly trafficked area like where this shooting took place, maybe this guy doesn't feel as emboldened to just walk across that plaza there holding a rifle. Second, more cops means quicker response times.
Correct.
The moment something happens in the lobby, maybe this guy doesn't get to the elevator because the cops are there ready to converge immediately. Your thoughts?
I don't disagree with Paul, and I heard him state that last night as it relates to both the operational response time and the deterrent effects, general and specific deterrent effects of having 9,000 more officers. But I concur with Cameron Mitchell, the Navy SEAL who was on last night with Trace, who pointed out, and I had mentioned earlier myself, this individual, this bloodthirsty killer who drove from Vegas to unleash holy hell at 345 Park Avenue, strutted. He didn't walk. He strutted with that weapon. I watched the tape a few times. He was confident. He was secure. He was cocky. He had, in my view, he would not have been deterred. I think he would just opened up in the plaza as opposed to in the interior of the lobby.
Well,
he was committed.
Yeah, he certainly was, and the images are shocking that you see on the top left-hand side of your screen right there. This gunman had a documented mental health history, according to Las Vegas police. He was reportedly a security guard at a Las Vegas casino, and according to Commissioner Tisch, was licensed to carry a gun in Nevada. Do those details add up to you?
They do. Carly, I own a national security company. We have deployed officers in over 500 cities, including Vegas. I got a big contingent in Vegas. The rules are more relaxed there. Giuliani tightened things up here when he took over in '93. The reality is, as a condition of employment, this guy would be allowed to have a full carry, a full concealed carry, and he may not have disclosed it, and it wouldn't be publicly discussed otherwise.
When you say he may not have disclosed it, the documented mental health history when he went to get the gun license?
Correct. When he was filling out the application for a full carry in the state of Nevada, and we have armed people in the state of Nevada, so I'm familiar with it, he may not have disclosed that. He was probably not fully forthcoming, in which case they were unaware of it. How would they otherwise become aware of it? Because that would have been a mitigating factor, in my view, as it relates to him being awarded, and it is an award of a full carry in the state of Nevada.
Pat, fundamental question here. Don't all buildings that are major office buildings in New York City have multiple armed security? I was under the impression that if you have a major high-rise like 345, there's multiple guys with guns ready to deal with something like this, not just one, as in our deceased officer.
So, Todd, it varies according to the Class 1 designation of the building and the size of the building. This is a massive building. I'm very familiar with it because I have provided armed security through my company at that building over the years. It's 2 million square feet, 44 floors, 34 elevators. Yes, generally speaking, there would be, in addition to the paid detail. So Officer Islam was there with municipal authority. He was there as a member of the NYPD working for that company, but with the full authority, arrest powers, interrogation powers, and so forth, of a municipal police officer, which is a distinction as related to a civilian security officer. But the long-winding answer is that, yes, generally there would be armed officers there posted throughout the lobby, as well as throughout vertically in the building.
Officer Islam was 36 years old. He was a 3.5-year veteran of the New York City Police Department. In the early morning hours of yesterday, NYPD members participated in a dignified transfer of his body at Presbyterian Rose Cornell Medical Center in Manhattan. The nation mourns his loss and the loss of 3 other innocent victims. Retired NYPD Detective Pat Brosnan, thank you very much.
Very welcome. Thank you.